Brookfield is pleased to partner with The Urbanist on Monocle Radio. Brookfield manages real estate around the globe, collaborating with partners, tenants and local communities to bring Brookfield's properties to life. Being part of the wider Brookfield ecosystem affords access to data and expertise across a breadth of industries, in addition to access to capital. A leading portfolio of real estate, with a proven record of adding value beyond the buildings. Success built on relentless innovation, leading-edge sustainability, and the highest standards of design. The creation of places that enhance the very fabric of our communities. Brookfield, real estate reimagined.
What can the so-called ugliest building in Oulu teach us about adaptive reuse? Designed by the Finnish architect Aalto in 1931, this lovingly derided former storage silo is being redesigned to serve as a new community hub focusing on climate change. You're listening to Tall Stories, a Monocle production brought to you by the team behind The Urbanist. I'm Andrew Tuck. In this episode, Wif Stenger describes how the ugly duckling of a city can grow to become a community treasure.
Welcome to Toppila, an old industrial port district in Oulu, once known for high crime rates. It's still gritty in parts, but it's an up-and-coming residential neighborhood, home to students and immigrants. One of its tallest buildings was designed by architect Alvar Aalto back in 1931. His career was just taken off then with help from his wife and design partner Aino Aalto. Their first industrial project was this storage silo for wood chips, part of a British-owned pulp mill in Oulu, which is the European capital of culture next year. This brutalist concrete structure has an odd shape, not like the cylindrical silo you might imagine. With its steep sloping roof, it's been compared to a ship or a cathedral, but it's also been called the ugliest building in Oulu and the Fang of Toppila. After the factory closed down 40 years ago, the silo was left to the pigeons and graffiti artists. In 2020, it was put up for auction, but no one wanted to commit to restoring it. Then the Factum Foundation, a cultural preservation group from Madrid, bought it for €6,000 and took on a massive restoration project that may cost €250,000. British architect Charlotte Skene-Catling is converting it into a cultural and research centre, promoting the preservation and reuse of old buildings. The project's far from finished, but the interior's been cleaned up and stabilized enough that it's being used for exhibitions, concerts, and other events, including a new European Bauhaus symposium in August. There are plans for a rooftop bar and an annex with an amphitheater, cafe, and community sauna. Some of the work is being done by architectural students from around Europe. The project manager is Valentino Tignanelli, who's completing his master's at Oulu University with a focus on Toppila.
It's all about maintaining the heritage, but not as a museum piece, but as a livable space. Yeah. It's like concrete cathedral. The project is akin to a medieval cathedral more than a modernist building. So it's fixed very slowly with all the layers of society, and the idea that it's a livable space and the heritage is kept alive and not as a museum piece that it gets everything perfect but without a soul.
The soul of the building was boldly futuristic for 1931. In fact, the 30-meter-high structure was more of a machine than a building, says Raimo Tikka, a renovation architect at the Northern Ostrobothnia Museum. Tikka says the silo represented a pivotal moment in Aalto's career.
The works he made before this project was very traditional and very much the style you can see outside. And from this building on, he started to play with reinforced concrete, and that very much changed his architectural language. So this is very much the starting point for the modern design he started to create afterwards.
Pia Krogius, a city planning architect who's studying Aalto's heritage in Oulu, is pitching in with a broom to help the cleanup process. She says that the Toppila factory buildings were crucial as an experimental lab for Aalto as he developed the modernist style that he became famous for in later decades.
All these works were the first ones when he had found out the finenesses of functionalism and modern architecture. This Toppila area was the chance for him to try them, these ideas.
Alvar Aalto was one of Europe's most influential architects, but did most of his work in Finland. Next year, 13 Aalto buildings in Finland are expected to be listed as a joint UNESCO World Heritage Site. Most of them are in the southern cities of Helsinki and Jyväskylä, which are pilgrimage sites for Aalto aficionados. Now Oulu is hoping to entice some of them to venture further north, offering tours of his local sites and an Aalto Symposium next year as part of its European City of Culture festivities.
Tall Stories is a Monocle production from the team behind The Urbanist. This episode was written by Wif Stenger and produced and edited by David Stevens. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast to receive new episodes every week. I'm Andrew Tuck. Goodbye, and thank you for listening, city lovers.
On The Urbanist, we're always asking what makes a city truly livable. This September, find some answers in Barcelona as Monocle hosts its annual Quality of Life conference. 3 days of panels, ideas and good conversation with global mayors, architects and policy pioneers, all over good food and a glass of something local. Find out more and book your seat at monocle.com/conference.